The desert storm had died only a few minutes ago, but the sky was still dark and full of heavy clouds. Cold winds moved across the broken valley, carrying dust and the smell of ancient stone. Captain Rawl stepped forward slowly, each foot pressing into the soft sand as he looked at the massive structure ahead. His exploration team followed behind him in silence, their lights shaking as they walked over the uneven ground. For months they had searched for signs of the old human empire. Most people believed humans disappeared long ago. Some said humans destroyed themselves, others said they simply ran away. But Rawl knew that humans were not a race that disappeared quietly. And now, standing in front of the strange portal, he felt he had found the truth that everyone feared. The portal rose like a giant skeleton from the ground, cracked, burned, and covered in deep runes that glowed faintly in the shadows. Blue energy moved inside the cracks like dying lightning. It was ancient, older than any alien empire in the galaxy. Rawl felt the structure watching him, waiting for something. It felt alive in a quiet, frightening way. Scientist Loom, the youngest member of the team, moved closer to the base of the portal and wiped dust from a metal plate half buried in the ground. "Captain, these are human letters," she said in a shaking voice. Everyone stopped at once, their hearts tightening with fear and curiosity. Human language had not been seen for hundreds of years. Rawl knelt beside Loom and brushed more dust away until the plates shined softly under their lights. The metal lit up as if waking from a long sleep. A thin blue line passed across it. And then slowly glowing words appeared. "The early fleet has withdrawn. The main human armada will return." The team stared at the message, frozen like statues. No one spoke, because no one understood what they were looking at. If humans left a message like this, then they had never been defeated. They had never been destroyed. They had only stepped back, preparing for something bigger, something darker. A soft tremor passed through the ground, shaking dust loose from the cracks of the ancient stones. Rawl felt the vibration in his bones. The portal was not dead, it was waking up. Slowly and with purpose, the glowing runes brightened, lighting the area with an unsteady blue light. The hum coming from inside the portal grew louder, as if a giant engine deep underground was starting again after centuries. Soldier Vec moved back in fear, holding his weapon tight. "Captain, we should leave this place," he whispered, but Rawl did not move. Something inside the portal felt familiar to him, like a memory he never lived. As if the portal carried the shadow of the humans who built it, the air started to shake as more energy leaked from the cracks. A wind formed around the structure even though the valley was still. It pushed against their bodies like invisible hands. Then the metal plate glowed again and new words appeared, freshly carved by the portal itself. "Prepare your worlds. They are almost here," Loom gasped. Taking a step back, her voice broke as she spoke. "Captain, this message. It's new." The team looked at her in horror. The message was not thousands of years old. It had appeared only seconds ago. Rawl felt a cold shock move through his chest. This was not a relic. It was a warning system, still awake, still watching the galaxy, and it had just activated again because something had changed in the darkness of space. The humming sound grew deeper, almost like the heartbeat of a giant creature waking from sleep. A beam of weak blue light rose from the center of the portal and spread into the sky like a signal. The valley lit up with strange shadows, and for a moment Rawl thought he heard echoes, distant and metallic, like the engines of ships far away. He looked at his team. "We need to report this," he said quietly. But deep inside he already knew the truth. The humans had never left forever. They were coming back, and the galaxy was not ready. The blue beam rising from the portal did not fade. It grew brighter, stronger, and more focused. Like a blade cutting through the sky, Captain Rawl felt the air pressure shift as if the world itself was holding its breath. His team stepped back, shielding their eyes from the harsh light. Scientist Loom tried to scan the portal with her handheld device, but the screen only flickered with error messages. "It's releasing a signal," she said in a tense whisper, "but the frequency—" "Captain, this should be impossible." Rawl turned toward her, his voice low. "Explain." She swallowed hard, her hands trembling as she adjusted the device. "This frequency matches the old human distress code, but it's reversed. It's not asking for help. It's announcing something." The team stared up at the sky, watching the beam pulse with growing energy. Inside the valley, the stones vibrated as if answering a silent call. It felt like the entire desert was waking, remembering something ancient and terrifying. Soldier Vex stepped closer to Rawl, keeping his weapon ready. "Captain, this signal is going to alert someone," he said. "Something out there is listening." Rawl already knew that. He felt it deep in his chest, a pressure like invisible eyes watching them from the distant stars. Suddenly the light from the portal flickered and shifted into a wave that spread across the entire valley. It washed over the sand, over the rocks, over the team. Their suits crackled with static as the energy passed through them. Then, for a moment, the valley changed. A vision appeared in the air like a hologram formed of dust and light. It showed massive human ships, black and sharp like blades, moving through the darkness of space, an entire fleet, thousands strong. Their engines glowed with white fire, burning brighter than any alien technology the galaxy had ever seen. The team stood frozen as the vision continued. The human fleet moved toward a planet, a world they did not recognize. And behind them came something even larger, a colossal ship that dwarfed everything. It looked like a small moon covered in armor and weapons. A symbol appeared across its hull, glowing red. The same symbol carved into the portal in front of them. Loom covered her mouth, unable to breathe. This is a human war parade," she whispered. "They're not exploring, they're marching." The vision changed again, showing alien fleets burning, falling apart under beams of white energy. Different species, different empires. None could stop the human advance. Every ship melted like wax under the fire of the human armada. The message was clear, frightening, undeniable. When humans return, they will return as conquerors. The vision ended with a single image, a dark silhouette of a human soldier standing on broken ground, holding a flag that burned with blue fire. Then the light collapsed, and the valley returned to its silent shape. The portal fell quiet again, but the runes glowed brighter than ever. A new message formed on the metal plate, letters carving themselves as the team watched in horror. "The signal is sent. They have heard. The fleet is coming." Rawl felt a cold wave run through his spine. He realized the portal was never meant to be found by alien explorers. It was a trigger, a key, a silent guardian waiting for the right moment to awaken. And by touching it, by activating it, they had lit the beacon that humans left behind centuries ago. The wind in the valley suddenly grew stronger, swirling dust around them. The sky above shifted, cracks of light appearing in the clouds as if something immense was pushing toward the planet from orbit. Vex stumbled back in fear, shouting, "Captain, look at the sky." Rawl stared upward, breath caught in his throat. A shape dark, massive, silent moved behind the clouds. Something was descending, something not from this world, something that answered the portal's call. The humans were not here yet, but something sent by them was already arriving, and the galaxy's greatest fear was about to step onto the sand. The sky above the valley twisted like a giant hand was turning the clouds. Lightning flashed between dark shapes hiding high in the atmosphere. Captain Rawl felt the ground tremble under his boots as the air filled with a deep humming sound. It was not thunder, it was something mechanical, something powerful, something alive. His team formed a tight circle, weapons raised. Eyes fixed on the swirling clouds, Scientist Loom checked her scanner. But the device only buzzed with static and error codes. "This isn't natural," she whispered. "The atmosphere is reacting to something huge." Soldier Vec pointed upward, his voice cracking. "There something is coming through." A large shadow moved behind the clouds. Slow but unstoppable, the shape grew bigger by the second. Blocking out the light, everyone felt the pressure in their chests rise, like someone pressing down on their lungs. The clouds tore apart in a loud, ripping burst of wind. A massive object broke through the sky. Descending toward the valley like a falling mountain, it was a ship, but not an alien one. It was human. Its armor was black and silver. Marked with the same burning blue symbols on the portal, the ship rotated slowly as it lowered. Silent except for the deep hum that vibrated across the desert, Loom stared in disbelief. "This is impossible," she whispered. "This design. This is older than our oldest records, but it looks new." The ship hovered above the valley, creating a storm of dust and wind below it. Rawl shielded his eyes as the wind whipped sand into their faces. The underside of the ship opened, revealing a circular gate that glowed with white energy. A beam of light fell onto the ground like a glowing pillar. The sand melted into glass under its heat. The portal sent a signal. The signal was heard. And now something from the human fleet had arrived to investigate. A shape appeared inside the glowing beam, blurry at first, then slowly sharpening. It stepped out of the light and onto the glass platform with a heavy metallic sound. The team froze, unable to move. Unable to speak, the figure stood tall, taller than any normal human. Its body covered in thick, dark armor, blue energy lines ran across its suit like living veins. Pulsing with each slow breath it took, a helmet covered its face. Smooth and reflective like black glass. Then the helmet clicked open, splitting apart to reveal a human face underneath. A real human, alive, young, and cold-eyed. He looked at them without surprise. As if he expected them to be here, his voice was calm. Almost emotionless as he spoke. "Identification. Human Forward Vanguard Unit 01 reporting. Portal beacon activation detected. Who triggered the signal?" Rawl could barely breathe. The story said humans were gone forever. But the man standing before them was real, powerful, and unshaken. This was not a weak survivor of a lost race. This was a soldier from a returning empire. We discovered the portal by accident," Rawl said, trying to keep his voice steady. "We didn't know it would send a signal." The human soldier tilted his head slightly. His eyes sharpened, scanning each member of the team in silence. "You were not authorized," he said. "Unauthorized activation of a strategic relay is considered a threat." The team stepped back. Fear growing in their eyes, Vec whispered, "Captain, we need to leave." But before they could move, the soldier raised his hand. The armor on his gauntlet glowed as a holographic screen appeared above it. Symbols flashed rapidly, forming words in the ancient human language. He read them carefully, then looked back at the team. "Relay confirms new enemy movements in the galaxy," he said. "The fleet will return ahead of schedule." Rawl's stomach dropped. "Return? When?" he asked. The soldier's expression did not change. He spoke his final words with chilling calm. "Within weeks." A silence heavier than the storm itself fell over the valley. The galaxy had no time left. The humans were not just coming. They were almost here. The valley had gone silent. The air heavy with the weight of the human soldier's final words. "Within weeks," that single line stayed in Rawl's mind like a cold knife. Repeating again and again, the human soldier Unit 01 stepped forward, his armored boots cracking the glass beneath him. His presence alone was enough to freeze the entire team. He looked at the portal, then at the glowing sky. as if calculating something only he could understand. "The relay you activated is one of the old warning towers," he said calmly. "It was built before the last human retreat. It was never meant for alien discovery." Loom's voice trembled. If humans left this behind, why return now?" The soldier turned his cold eyes toward her. His expression remained unreadable, like a machine wearing a human face. "The galaxy has changed in your absence," he said. "New powers rise. Old enemies prepare, and the human empire does not allow instability." The team felt a wave of fear sweep across them. It was not what he said, it was the calm certainty behind each word. As if human dominion over the galaxy was a simple fact. Not a dream, Rawl swallowed hard, trying to gather his courage. "What do you want from us?" he asked. "Why land here?" 01 tapped the glowing device on his arm, and a massive hologram burst into the air. It stretched from one end of the valley to the other, displaying star maps, moving fleets, coded symbols, and flashing warnings. The sight left the team breathless. Hundreds of red markers blinked across the map, spreading through space like a deadly infection. "These are hostile movements detected in the last cycle," 01 said. "They are preparing for war." Loom stepped closer, shaking. "But these fleets, these symbols, they're from different empires, enemies to each other, now united by fear," the soldier replied. "They fear our return more than they fear one another." Rawl felt the truth settle inside him like a heavy stone. The galaxy knew humans were coming, they had always known. And now they were preparing for the impossible, facing humanity at full strength. 01 closed the map with a swipe. "The main armada will arrive soon," he said. "But they will not come quietly. They will come to reclaim order." A deep rumble echoed above them as the human ship shifted in the sky. Repositioning itself, its engines burned with blinding white fire, sending waves of heat across the valley. Dust swirled, sand cracked, and the ground shivered like a living creature. Vec covered his face and yelled through the storm of wind, "Captain, we can't stay here." But the human soldier raised his hand, and the storm died instantly. His armor glowed with a pulse of blue, calming the environment with a single command. "You will not leave yet," he said. "There is something you must deliver." He lifted a small metallic cube from his belt, a device no alien had ever seen before. Its surface shifted like liquid metal, glowing with human symbols. He tossed it to Rawl, who barely caught it, almost dropping it from shock. "That is a message from the human fleet," 01 said. "You will take it to your leaders." Rawl stared at the cube as it pulsed in his hands like a beating heart. "What is inside?" he asked, voice shaking. 01 answered without hesitation. "A choice." The wind picked up again, swirling around them, carrying dust in silent spirals. Rawl felt a chill move through the valley. A choice from humans was never simple, never gentle. It was always sharp, always final. A bright column of light shot down from the hovering ship. Surrounding 01, he stepped backward into it. Never breaking eye contact with the team, "Deliver the message," he said. "And prepare your worlds." The light swallowed him, lifting him back toward the ship like a ghost returning to the sky. The ship rumbled, lights brightening, engines roaring awake. Then, with a flash that shook the valley, it shot upward into the clouds and vanished in a trail of white fire. Rawl stood frozen, gripping the metallic cube. Feeling its pulse against his palm, Loom whispered behind him, "Captain, what do we do now?" Rawl looked at the sky where the ship disappeared. He felt the truth in his bones, heavy and unstoppable. "We warned the galaxy," he said quietly. "Humans are coming back." The desert winds returned slowly, carrying a strange quiet across the valley. The human ship had vanished from the sky, but its presence still echoed in the air like thunder that refused to fade. Captain Rawl stood frozen in place, staring at the metallic cube in his hand. It pulsed with soft blue light, steady and calm, like a heartbeat that belonged to something far greater than any empire in the galaxy. Loom stepped beside him, her voice barely a whisper. "Captain, is it safe to even touch that thing?" Rawl shook his head slowly. "I don't know," he replied. "But we don't have a choice." The team gathered around him. Still shaken from the encounter, Vec kept looking at the sky, expecting another ship to appear at any moment. "Captain, we should leave this valley now," he said. "If more humans show up, they won't," Rawl said firmly, though he was not completely sure. "They came for one reason, to give us this message." The cube pulsed again, brighter this time, and a thin beam of blue light shot upward. Scanning the air as if checking its surroundings, words appeared on its surface, shifting like liquid metal, forming into sentences. The team leaned closer, breath catching in their throats. "Delivered to the Council of Worlds. Warning of approach. The Armada moves." The letters burned for a moment, then faded back into the metallic surface. A silence followed, deep, heavy, and suffocating. Then Loom spoke the fear all of them felt. "This message, it isn't a threat. It's more like a countdown." The wind howled across the valley as if agreeing with her words. Rawl tightened his grip on the cube and looked at each member of his team. "We leave now," he said, "if humans return in weeks." The galaxy has very little time left. The team rushed to their transport ship parked behind a ridge of stone. The engines ignited with a roar, lifting the craft into the air. But as they rose above the valley, their faces turned pale. From the sky, they could see the full scale of what had happened. The portal, once silent, dusty, forgotten, now glowed like a giant eye in the desert. Blue energy circled it, rising into the sky like a beacon calling to the heavens. Every empire, every ship, every watcher in the galaxy would see that light, and they would know exactly who it belonged to as the transport sped through the clouds. Vec looked at the valley shrinking behind them. "Captain, why would humans warn us?" he asked. "They could have returned without telling anyone." Rawl stared ahead, eyes fixed on the dark horizon. "Because they don't fear us," he said quietly. "They don't fear any of the galaxy's empires. They fear what's coming." Loom turned sharply. "What do you mean?" she asked. Rawl held up the cube, watching its blue pulse against his gloves. "The soldier said the galaxy is unstable," he said, "and the fleet is returning early. Humans don't panic. If they're moving faster than planned, something has changed." Attention filled the ship as the team processed his words. It wasn't just a warning, it was preparation. As their transport entered orbit, they saw something that made their blood run cold. Across the planet's upper atmosphere, tiny streaks of blue light flashed like falling stars. Not meteors, not debris, signals sent from the portal, spreading across space like ripples in a dark ocean. "They're marking their path," Loom whispered.